I talked before about how the idea of a virgin woman in medieval society was paradoxical, but I really want to touch further on virgin martyrs, and specifically the martyrdom of Saint Margaret. For context, in medieval culture, women were viewed as inherently more lustful and deceitful than men, so if a woman kept her virginity, she was seen as more spiritual and no longer a woman. Because the idea of childbearing was so connected to womanhood, a virgin wasn't really considered a woman in medieval society. This was written in England in the late 13th century, and at a time where Christians simply weren't being martyred. So keep in mind that this is basically Christian fan fiction. It did not happen, it was just a way to convince young girls to keep their virginity. So in this story, the pagan king Olybrius sees Margaret plowing a field and he immediately wants her as his concubine. She ends up being kidnapped and is tortured in front of his pagan civilians. But before this happens, she offers her virginity as a precious gemstone to Jesus, if he will provide her protection. Due to her virginity, she is able to withstand the beatings. In one instance, she's burned until her skin turns black, and survives a beating that would normally kill a person, but she prays, "Salve my wounds so that it may neither seem anywhere upon my face that I endure pain." In Sarah Salil's essay, she explains that virgin martyrs are tortured in this way to highlight their lack of femininity. Quote, "Female saints must overcome their inherent feminine weaknesses through the twin process of physical identification with Christ's suffering and the endurance of extreme physical torture." At the sight of this, thousands of pagans watching convert to Christianity, and in a rage, the king has all of them executed. It's really important to note that Jesus does not save these people like he does Margaret, because they are not virgins. So with this understanding that virgins are unfeminine and virginity in itself is masculine, as virgins, their gender is not based on the body, but the spirit. The bearing of children is what categorizes a person as woman, to the point that the concept of gender needs to be reconstructed. I had to read my notes there. The natural grotesqueness of the woman's body is thus corrected through moral and physical enclosure. So the torture scenes in Margaret's martyrdom can kind of be understood as like a virginity test, where they are revealed as unfeminine, unashamed, and impenetrable. That's also from Sarah Salil's essay. I pretty briefly talked about this on my last video about medieval virginity, but frankly, I'm obsessed with the Catherine group, and I'm probably going to make a whole video dedicated to each part of the Catherine group, which is Holy Maidenhood, St. Margaret's martyrdom, and St. Catherine's martyrdom. I think there's another one as well, my brain's breaking. St. Catherine will be really fun to do a whole video about because she shows her lack of femininity